'Twas the night before Christmas, and old Marley was dead. As dead as a doornail, so the simile read. His former partner Scrooge walked to their office, thinking of nothing but his own profits and losses. Scrooge scolded Bob Cratchit and forbade him more coal, for the heat gave no warmth to old Scrooge's cold soul. Though the day was a joyful part of the season, for Scrooge 'twas an annoyance. And here was his reason. Christmas picked his pocket every 25th of December. A loss of business was all that Scrooge cared to remember. His stony heart was ice as it beat in his chest. He ignored the needy, the hungry, and all the rest. No cheer could Scrooge spare, even for his own kin. His nephew's festive greeting could not muster a grin. Why be merry, Scrooge grumbled, his shoulders did shrug. A Merry Christmas indeed. Bah! Humbug! When two gentlemen came, imploring for charity, Scrooge denied a contribution with great asperity. To prisons and workhouses, send all the poor there, decrease the surplus population. I do not care. Through the frost and the fog, Scrooge walked to his place, when there on his knocker he saw Marley's face. It was there, then 'twas gone, gone just as swiftly. Scrooge hurried inside, his heart beating quite quickly. His dark, dusty rooms were silent and plain. Then Scrooge heard a moan and the scrape of a chain. Fettered and worn, limped out Marley's pale ghost. With a groan and a shudder he spoke to his host. Scrooge, I have come your callous soul to help save. Behold, this fate will be yours upon meeting your grave. These cold, heavy chains I had forged through my life, yours are longer still, laden with sorrow and strife. Your rest will be haunted by three spirits tonight. They're the only chance and hope for your plight. Heed their counsel and change your uncaring heart. As the bell tolls one, the first visit will start. Marley's specter vanished with a cloying clang, and fear gripped Scrooge as one bell clearly clanged. Filling the dark room shone a light bright and vast, emitting from the kind ghost of Christmas past. Come, she spoke gently, rise and walk with me. We shall look in the shadows of what used to be. Back they flew to a previous Christmas morn and spied a young boy, Scrooge, alone and forlorn. They watched as Christmases passed, each one spent alone, without family, without friends, without even a home. Then as a young man, Scrooge was in Fezziwig's employ, and there Christmas was spent in laughter and joy. Old Scrooge felt a pang as he remembered those years, and how he now treated Bob Cratchit with scorn and with jeers. The ghost in old Scrooge then observed from above, as he was bid farewell by his dear former love. Scrooge's relish for money outweighed his love for her. They could never go back to the way that they were. This last scene chiseled at old Scrooge's chilly heart, and he bade the first ghost to finally depart. As the bells chimed two, Scrooge was back in his house, where nothing was stirring, not even a mouse. Then a light gleamed intensely from under a door, and Scrooge heard a sound he had not heard before. Then what to Scrooge's wide eyes should appear but a jovial ghost with a long, bright red beard. Come in, pealed out a jolly bellow. Look upon me and know me better, good fellow. I'm the ghost of Christmas present, laughed the genial phantom. He took reticent Scrooge on a journey across the kingdom, where people all around reveled in the joy of the day, feasting and merrymaking, all in their own way. The spirit led Scrooge to Bob Cratchit's poor dwelling, where the smell of goose dinner was rising and swelling. The whole family rejoiced to be with each other, from mother and father to sister and brother. The youngest son, Tiny Tim, hobbled in on his crutch. He was sickly and weak, but good as gold and beloved much. "O Spirit," asked Scrooge, "will poor Tiny Tim live?" A grim answer was all that the spirit could give. "In shadows, a vacant seat, and lonely crutch see I. If his future is unaltered, the child will die." But his death would decrease the surplus population. Scrooge's head hung at hearing his own proclamation. They next watched as Nephew Fred's big Christmas party, where the guests were all bright, their laughs rich and hearty. Scrooge found himself happily joining with the merry folk as they played their fun games and told many a joke. Such scenes of Christmas cheer were repeated by the ghost, the lessons of charity and mercy being foremost. Rays of love began to melt old Scrooge's frosty heart, and then he knew that Christmas had more to impart. Christmas is a blessing, a day of giving and sharing, the chance to be near family, practice kindness and caring. When the whole wintry world seems so bleak and full of strife, Christmas time brings love, joy, and laughter to life. The ghost of Christmas present had grown clearly older, but he taught Scrooge these precepts over and over. At the stroke of midnight on that Christmas day, the spirit, like the sunset, then faded away. Through the mist came a gloomy, black-hooded phantom, the last specter, the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Quivered Scrooge, "Your purpose is to do good for me. With a thankful heart I'll heed. Please, show what may be." While the present had been so pleasant and cheery, the future seeped in, all shrouded and dreary. On a corner in the busiest part of the city, a man's death was heralded with no show of pity. Some friendless soul had passed on in the night, and no friends or mourners could be found in sight. His death was occasion for benefit and plunder. Thieves had even torn his bed curtains asunder. Aghast, Scrooge pleaded, "Is there no tenderness in death? There should be love and grief to express." To the home of the Cratchits then Scrooge went once more, but no joy, only grief, lay at their humble door. The family wept for the passing of poor Tiny Tim, and Scrooge found himself silently weeping with them. Who, he then asked, though the answer he feared, was the cursed man whose death was so mocked and so jeered? Scrooge was conveyed next to an old forlorn church surrounded by graves. His heart gave a lurch. Are these all the shadows of what will or may be? Surely futures can change. Say it's true, even for me. With one silent motion replied the hooded ghost. O spirit, trembled Scrooge, I do fear you the most. Pray tell that a man can for ill deeds atone. With horror, Scrooge read his own name on the tombstone. With a start, Scrooge was back in his bed. Now awake with exuberance, he gave his bed curtains a shake. He praised heaven and Christmas time while down on his knees, swore to honor the season and others to please. He laughed and then danced, his heart filled with joy. He felt just as giddy as a merry schoolboy. Throwing open his window, he called to a young lad and sent him to fetch the grandest turkey to be had. To Bob Cratchit's he sent the big turkey with glee and vowed to raise good Bob's deficient salary. Dear Scrooge was far better than his promised word, as good a friend, man or master, in all the world. Of him it was said that he kept Christmas well, past, present, and future did in his heart dwell. God bless us every one, said Tiny Tim in fading light. A happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night.